Scottie Wilbekin's basketball career began at a very early age. By the time he was old enough to walk, he was learning to shoot layups on the Fisher-Price basketball goals set up in the family's living room.
I remember when he was 4 years old, he used to want to come to the gym when we were practicing at Santa Fe College, and he would come to the gym. That era was, Blake Hyde and Andrew Brantley and Josh Bowling and some of the guys, and John Faulkner, those guys, Nathan Chance. He used to come to the gym just to watch them practice. He used to beg me to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to watch them practice and just to be a part.
It wasn't long before Scottie's observations and practice efforts would get him off the sideline and onto the court. By the time he was 9, he was helping his AAU team win championships and earning a spot on the Rock School's 8th grade team.
One of the neatest things that I got to be a part of was when Scottie was a 4th grader. He was the starting point guard on the 8th grade basketball team, and did a remarkable job all year long. He not only did a great job, but he also earned the respect of his teammates.
Scottie didn't wait long to display his ability to hit game-winning shots. Those hours on the school's old outdoor court would soon pay off.
We're at bell. There's 6 seconds to go in the game. Call a timeout because we're down by 1. We've got to go the length of the floor, and we've got to score a basket. The sweat is dripping off everybody, the intensity, the excitement. I grab the marker board, and I start drawing up a play. And the particular play that we're running is called 4 down. George Richard took the ball out of bounds, 8th grader, throws it to Aaron Godet, who just got a pick from Ray Franco, and Aaron catches the ball, throws it right back to George, and George dribbles up. He takes 5 dribbles, he jump stops, and passes it to Scottie. Scottie takes 2 dribbles, he pump fakes, a defender comes flying by. After he gets out of the way, Scottie acts like it's just him in his living room, goes up, takes the shot, holds the form, and it goes swoosh when the buzzer rings. It was incredible. The place erupted. Their fans were devastated. Our fans were going crazy. They were actually, in an 8th grade basketball game, I've never seen people leave the stands and run onto the court, and they did it. They did it because Scottie, as a 4th grader, was able to capture a moment in time and hit a game-winning shot.
By his 6th grade year, it was obvious to the Rock's varsity head coach, who was also Scottie's father, that Scottie was indeed a special player ready to play on the big stage.
I remember the first time we brought Scottie up to play on varsity. He was in the 6th grade. He was playing on our JV team, and we had played Trenton High School, and they beat us by like 20 points in their preseason game, and their press just destroyed us. And me and my coaches, we talked and decided to bring Scottie up because we thought that he could help us beat the press just with his ball handling. So we bring him up for that game, and he does a fabulous job handling the pressure and helping us beat their press, just ball handling and making the right pass. Well, the score, all of a sudden we're down 3, and we designed a play for Musa Kamara to hit a game-winning shot to send it in overtime. And Musa comes down, everybody in the gym knows Musa's going to shoot it, so they pass it. Musa is defended really well, so he passes it to Scottie. Scottie, as a 6th grader, catches it and sticks it and makes a 3 and sends the game in overtime. And after that, we decided to keep him on varsity for the rest of the year.
Well, I probably knew he was a special player the first time I saw him, which was when he was a 7th grader, when I first started as an assistant under P7. He was a 7th grader. We had a senior in DJ Laris at the point guard position, and then we had Josh Snodgrass, who was a freshman. And Scottie was a 7th grader, and he didn't get a lot of playing time, but you could see the poise that he played with as a 7th grader on a varsity team. A lot of times we would bring him in just to kind of balance everything, to bring an even keel to everything, because he was experienced, he was mature in the game, and he possessed the skill that would help us to be successful.
Probably one of my fondest memories that I have coaching Scottie was when we beat Mount Verde in our home gym. They were ranked nationally, several Division I players, and he's a sophomore now. And I remember when they came down and scored and tied the game with about 15 seconds left, and I was deciding whether or not to take a timeout. And Scottie and I made eye contact as the ball is inbounded and it comes to him, and he's bringing the ball up the court, looking at me to see whether or not I'm going to call a timeout. And I just waved it off and called flat. And he looked at me and just had determination in his eyes and came down and set his man up and just made an incredible shot that forever is one of my highlights that I will always remember, when he stuck that 12-foot jumper against Mount Verde to give us our first victory over Mount Verde.
Scottie's success on the court is the result of a strong work ethic, a competitive nature, and sheer determination. Always the unselfish player, Scottie was the consummate point guard, a floor leader who inspired his teammates and willed them to victory.
Usually he was the rah-rah guy. He would get guys going to start them off, and then in games he was always that coach on the floor that I could always count on, someone who I could look to and say, Scottie, we need to get going. We need to get this accomplished. And he would step in and rally the guys together and get them all on the same page. So I had a blast coaching him this year, and wish I had another year with him, but I'm very excited for what he's about to step into.
Obviously, Scottie being a part of that team, the first time the Rock School sends a team to Lakeland, was really special, and making it to the championship game as an 8th grader was really special for me as a father and as a coach.
By his sophomore season, colleges began to take serious notice, and letters of interest began pouring in. Scottie was invited to attend elite summer camps at schools like Tennessee and Florida State. But Scottie's dream as a little boy was to one day play basketball at the University of Florida, and that dream is soon to be realized. A year earlier than anyone might have imagined just a few months ago, Scottie Wilbekin will sign with the Florida Gators. Will Scottie's success continue at the next level? There is no reason to believe otherwise.
They're going to get a mature player, but they're also getting a player who in the last year has shown great work ethic and desire to want to get better as a player. He's always had the competitive nature, and competing to win was usually, I think, what drove him. Now it seems like he's competing with himself to get as great and be as good as he possibly can. So they're getting a player who's going to come in and I think work very, very hard for him. Again, like he did for our high school team, he's going to bring in a balance to everything that the Gators are doing.
All his life, Scottie has been playing up. Whether he was a 4th or 5th grader playing with 8th graders, or 6th grade on up playing with varsity players, he's always accepted the challenge of playing with kids who were older, bigger, stronger, faster. But there was something that he had. You see, when Scottie looked in the mirror, he didn't see a little kid. He saw a basketball player. He saw a Christian. He saw a Wilbekin. He saw a man of God. And that's something that I will always be proud of, what Scottie has accomplished. His ability to look at himself and not get cocky and not get smug and not think that he's been given all these gifts so he can go and make older kids look bad. He does what he does because he loves it. It's a passion. And he's able to give God the glory for everything he's accomplished, whether he was a 4th or a 5th grader or a high school kid or even coming up on the next level. I'm confident that he will always give God the glory.
The biggest challenge for Scottie as he makes this next step to attend the University of Florida. Athletically, I think he'll do fine. Physically, I think he'll rise to the occasion. Academically, I think he's prepared. I would say spiritually, for him to love God, to never be ashamed of who he is in Christ, to make sure that he is in the house of God every Sunday, and to invite his teammates, to invite those friends, to use the giftings and the talents that God's given him, and to make sure that he glorifies the Father publicly and he glorifies the Father privately. If he can do those things, I think he's going to have great success.